Meeting to order, the Village of Villa Park Village Board of Trustees meeting, April 8th, 2024. Clerk Kornecki, please call the roll.
Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova.
Here.
Trustee Corkery.
Here.
Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar.
Here.
Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazone.
Here. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please remain standing. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you please remain standing? Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen. Okay. Item 3, amendments to the agenda.
Yeah,
Trustee Cordova.
I'd like to make an amendment to move item 7, A and B, above 4.
Okay, we have a motion to move items 7A and B. Do we have a second for that motion? Trustee Kumar? Clerk Kornecki, please call it.
Okay, Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, so we are at item 7A is a presentation of badges to firefighter paramedics who are completing their probationary period. Chief Stapleton.
Thank you, President Kazone, Manager Harline, and members of the board. Today is a special day as we gather to recognize and celebrate the achievement of our firefighters who are completing their probationary period. This is a significant milestone in their journey, one that deserves our acknowledgement and our praise. It is my honor to bring up the following candidates to be recognized who have successfully completed their probationary period for the Villa Park Fire Department. Donald Gratz, can you come and stand up front? James Marcello. Christopher Latelli. Joshua Borowick. And Joshua Rousseau. To our newest firefighters, I want to extend my sincerest congratulations. Your dedication, hard work, and commitment to excellence have been evident throughout your probationary period. As you embark on this next chapter in your career, I encourage you to never stop learning, never stop growing, and never stop striving to be the best firefighters you can be. Take pride in what you have accomplished, but never become complacent. Stay hungry. Stay humble, and never lose sight of the values that brought you here. As you transition from probationary firefighters to full-fledged members of our department, I want to remind you of the profound responsibility that comes with the privilege of being a firefighter. You are entrusted with the safety and well-being of our community, and you must always approach your duties with the utmost courage, honor, and commitment. At this time, I would like to invite the person who will be pinning the badge on our newest members. For Donald Gratz, his wife Hannah. For James Marcello, his fiancee Erin. For Christopher Latelli, his fiancee Emma. Joshua Borowick, his wife Sarah. And for Joshua Rousseau, his girlfriend Maggie. The badge each of you will receive tonight represents what we stand for. It is now entrusted to you to continue the traditions and core values of the Villa Park Fire Department. Please pin the badge on your significant other. Congratulations once again on this significant achievement. We all look forward to watching you continue to grow and thrive as firefighters for years to come. Thank you, Board, for letting me do this, and thank you, everyone, for showing up. Fire department, you guys want to come on up, we'll take some pictures, and then we'll take the board and we can hold them horizontally.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Get out of the way.
And we're always looking, you know, we're still hiring. I offered, I'll teach you on the job. The manager went on a call with me, I had him hit the siren. We had a lot of fun. Hosanna, you know. Oh, yeah. Can we get a picture of just the new firefighters in the village board?
Yeah, that's great. We're a little lopsided, but that's ready?
You guys have to stay there the whole time. I don't know. I'm like, I actually don't know.
You guys are now listening. And you can thank Lieutenant Ricard.
Congratulations and good luck to you all and stay safe.
Been on probation for however long, they don't dare make a move.
I know, right?
Order,
No,
right?
not without an order.
Yeah, I saw a big sword.
Long life.
That's my color.
Long day.
I like swords.
Yeah, but what's it gonna look like when she's 50?
Hey, how you doing?
I wondered if it was the same. How you doing? Congratulations, by the way. How you doing?
Try to get the police to move theirs to the next meeting, but they needed, there was a schedule. I think I already told you.
The swearing in and presentation of badges to our new police officers. Chief Rivas, it's all yours.
Zone, thank you. Village Board, thank you. Manager Harlan, thank you very much. Tonight, we're swearing in two officer candidates, Stavroula Kapos and Joshua Wilkins. But first and foremost, I want to thank the friends and family who made the trip to honor them and to support them in this great career choice. And speaking to just you, what we would tell you about our police department, if you didn't know, is that we're a great group of people, a very family-oriented group. We expect all of our officers to make decisions, show leadership, and always use their voice. So if you ever have an issue or question, you can always call me or any one of the administrators, and we'll get it settled, whatever the issue may be. And after tonight, they will be going to the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy in a couple weeks, and then in a week, they're also going to be doing the power test. So, and then for the rest of the time here, they're going to be training with staff. They're going to be getting outfitted with their uniforms, and then they're also going to be sent out for uniforms. It's a very important piece. So we're excited to see what Stavroula and Joshua will do with the police department, as well as helping the citizens at this great village. And now we would ask Clerk Kornecki, and first we're going to ask Stavroula Kapos, please come forward.
Okay, Stavroula, raise your right hand and repeat after me. Face me, please. Okay, I, Stavroula Kapos,
I, Stavroula Kapos,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Illinois,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Illinois,
the laws and ordinances of the village of Villa Park,
the laws and ordinances of the village of Villa Park,
the rules and regulations of the Villa Park Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Villa Park Police Department,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of probationary police officer
of probationary police officer
for the village of Villa Park.
for the village of Villa Park. Congratulations. Thank you.
And now, since you are not currently in uniform, who would you like to have hand you the badge? It's going to be badge number 320. And next, so we could ask Joshua Wilkins to step up.
Joshua, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Joshua Wilkins,
I, Joshua Wilkins,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution and laws of the state of Illinois,
the Constitution of the laws of the state of Illinois,
the laws and ordinances of the village of Villa Park,
the laws and the ordinances of the village of Villa Park,
the rules and regulations of the Villa Park Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Villa Park Police Department,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of probationary police officer
of probationary police officer
for the village of Villa Park.
for the village of Villa Park.
Congratulations.
Now, Joshua, who would you like to have you hand you the badge?
My mom.
Turn sideways. And this is going to be badge 321.
I don't feel so bad.
We have paramedics on duty in case.
Chief Rebus, trick badges.
And we'll have just police officers looking at picture first, and then we'll ask the roll call.
It's great to see our new firefighters and our new police officers getting us back up to staff the way we should be. Okay, with that, we will move on to item 4 on our agenda, public comments on agenda items. Clerk Konecki, anyone signed up?
Yes, Joe Amore regarding 13B.
Good evening. Joe Amore, 309 East Maple. Speaking on, in support of the resolution to declare no mow until Mother's Day. Previously, that was no mow May, but with the early arrival of spring, we decided to cut it back this year from the Environmental Concerns Commission. We're thanking the board for taking in this resolution. Pollinators are so important to us. According to the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, it's estimated that 1 out of every 3 bites of food that we eat is related to the actions of pollinators. And that's whether you get your food out of just going out to your backyard and pulling out some lettuce from your garden or having your Uber Eats bring it every day. So it's a lot of pollinators are under stresses. We want to promote them as much as we can. And those flowering plants that are coming up as regularly identified as weeds or anything that they have an opportunity to nourish after just coming out of the winter. And they're underneath that grass. They've been down there all winter. And so you've got the new little baby pollinators coming out. And I know that there's some people in disagreement when they have manicured lawns that they don't like the way your neighbor's yard look, but think about the fact that that's making your yard look that much better. So we want everybody to be neighborly and considerate to each other, and after May 10th, then the village will go back to its normal procedures. So thank you once again.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Anyone else?
I had no one else signed up.
Okay, anyone else would like to speak on agenda items? Okay, item 5 is public comments on non-agenda items. Anyone signed up?
I do not have
Okay,
anyone, no.
anyone on non-agenda items? Would you like to speak non-agenda items?
I was here 2 years ago for the same thing.
You just speak your name, or just...
My name's Joe Arnold. I live at 133 North Ardmore. Ever since Ardmore was widened, I don't know how many years ago that was, all of a sudden I ended up with a manhole drain right at the start of my driveway. And it's very hard to get a drive in my driveway without driving over this thing. And I've got pictures of it again. My wheels are going right over the sharp metal, which is the drain. I don't know if you can see it here. I left it to you. This letter is the same. It's October 24, 2022. I give it to the Public Works person. I never heard from anybody. What I'm trying to do, I tried to do this when the street was done. I wanted my driveway to be done in concrete because of that drain, because that drain was never there. It was somewhere else, until they redid the street. Then they found out that's the low point. Well, let's stick it right there. Well, I got to drive over this thing with my rear wheels always. And actually, there was a flat tire once because there's a chunk of that metal out there. The snow plows hit that thing, and it caved in twice. The village came out and refilled behind it, because behind it is grass, and it just caved in, so they refilled it. And I'm just trying to find out if I can concrete my apron, just my apron, and would the village recommend what I should do. I just don't want to hire somebody to do it because it's encroaching on my neighbor's grass too. And I'd like to have it concreted all the way past this drain so that it's more permanent. Because I got pictures from 2 years ago, and now I just took pictures today. It's definitely not any better. It's actually gotten worse. It's like sticking up this much now already.
Okay.
I just want to get it done in concrete, but I need to have it past where my property line is. So that's,
Okay. If you'd like to give it, Director Guerrero right there, he's our Public Works Director, and we'll discuss things with him and see what we can do. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Public comments on non-agenda items? Okay, we are going to move on to item 6, which is proclamations. We have 3 of them tonight. First one is a proclamation for National Library Week, April 7th through 13th, 2024. And this reads, whereas libraries offer the opportunity for everyone to connect with others, learn new skills, and pursue their passions, no matter where they are on life's journey. Whereas libraries have long served as trusted institutions, striving to ensure equitable access to information and services for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. Whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of their communities, developing and expanding collections, programs, and services that are as diverse as the population they serve. Whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. Whereas libraries play a pivotal role in economic development by providing resources and support for job seekers, entrepreneurs, and small businesses, thus contributing to local prosperity and growth. Whereas libraries make choices that are good for the environment and make sense economically, creating thriving communities for a better tomorrow. Whereas libraries are treasured institutions that preserve our collective heritage and knowledge, safeguarding both physical and digital resources for present and future generations. Whereas libraries are an essential public good and fundamental institutions in democratic societies, working to improve society, protect the right to education and literacy, and promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Nick Cazone, proclaim National Library Week, April 7th through 13th, 2024. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit their library and celebrate the adventures and opportunities they unlock for us every day. And we have several people from our library board. Sandy, do you want to say anything?
I asked Rosanna to put something at your spots. Wanted to give you the year in review, a nice little pictograph that staff had worked on, and to give you some context as far as where we're going. The building and our services are being increasingly used. The items checked out increased over 5,000 last year. Library visits increased by 24,000 since last year. We have 9,000 more items in our collection, physical collection. Our lockers are hugely popular, so that's a 24/7 service, which, thank you, COVID, it's a wonderful service. So some serendipity there. Our reference questions did decrease by about 1,000, but what we're talking about measuring is actually the duration of a reference or technical question that we assist patrons with. We're finding that we're having to assist patrons with their devices a lot, and it just takes time because you have that disconnect where they're not sure what they're doing. It may be an unfamiliar device for us. So we sit and we spend quite a bit of time with our patrons doing that type of service. We had 164 more volunteer hours this past year. Our home delivery service increased by about 100 items. What was interesting about that was we received a call recently, and this is another COVID type thing. We received a call from a resident who had not been out of their apartment since COVID. So that made us look at that service and really seek to promote that more and get materials into people's hands. Our study rooms increased by over 1,000 uses this past year. They're a popular item. Our meeting room increased by 80 uses, and our meeting rooms are available for community groups at no charge. So we encourage people to contact our business office and we'll reserve the room for them. We did increase the number of passports this past year by 80. So we processed 454 passports this past year. It does bring in some revenue to offset a fee, $35 a passport is what the library collects. That number could be higher if we could retain staff. It's been a challenge as with every department in the village as far as retaining and attracting staff. So that's one of our challenges this upcoming year. But tomorrow's National Library Workers' Day, so we'll be celebrating the fact that we will hire our new full-time librarian starts next Monday. So we should be fairly fully staffed by next week. So that's awesome. We check out museum passes. We do summer lunches for those who need it, and that's about it. So, any questions for me? I did include our summer flyer. So our outreach specialist will be going to all the schools and promoting the summer reading club that we'll have at the library, and do the reading club online as well. So summer is the time that you don't want kids to fail or slide. That summer reading is especially important to keep up with what, your studies in the fall. So prevent the summer slide, encourage your kids to get out and do reading and participate in our programs in our reading club.
Okay.
That wasn't 3 minutes, just to be clear. That was-
There you go, I'm out of here.
Trustee Cordova, did you have a question?
Yeah, a question and comment. We're at the library a lot, and it's wonderful for us. What would be the best way? Because even on here, I didn't know you guys had museum passes. What's the best way that someone in Villa Park would be able to go and find a list of all the programs that you guys have? Because some of these are again wonderful, but I bet you get a little bit more if they knew.
That's the challenge with, because people, I believe that you have to hit people multiple times to really get the word out. So we're trying to highlight items in our print document, the resource. So this upcoming September, we're going to highlight the fact that Hoopla, we have a Hoopla product, which is a great product. Hoopla Instant, you can check out items electronically right away, but then we also added Hoopla Flex, which is a collection of audiobooks and ebooks that you can place hold on and check out. It increases the number of materials you have access to. So we're going to be promoting that online, in the resource, social media, but you've got to hit people multiple ways to get that word out. So that's what we've been trying to focus on, is just keep blasting away. That's okay.
Perfect.
So, and then we do ask the village, Suzanne and the PIO officer, can you share items? So we try to ask the village to help us with that type of thing. So,
Yeah, and there's a report every week that we get, so that's good.
yeah, it's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Trustee Alfano.
I appreciate everything that our library does. I think that the lockers are a game changer, because sometimes, I know like on Sundays, we're not always open, but I can always get in there, and if I need something, I am somebody that can't always get there even by 9.
Right.
So we can get there, we can scan it. If residents don't know about this service, you can just request something online, even if it's not in our library.
Right.
Right? We can get it for you. You can put it into the locker, and you don't even have to walk into the building. It is there for you whenever you can access it, which I think is really important to stress, because not everybody can get physically into the library.
And that's, we're a member of what's called the SWAN Consortium. That's over 100 libraries. And pooling your resources like that is huge. So if we don't have that item, we can get that item in within a few days. And then locker system is perfect for that type of use. So we're hoping the state library will, they put in a big package for databases. So we are hoping that they will be able to purchase databases statewide. And that could be a really cost savings for us, especially in Villa Park, where we could stretch and maybe get some more staff by offsetting that cost. So we had a recent visit. State Representative Diane Blair Sherlock asked the Secretary of State Librarian to visit libraries in her district, and he came to Villa Park. Senator Susie Glowiak Hilton was there as well, so we had a great tour of the library building, and it's exciting what the state is trying to do for libraries. So.
Great.
Very appreciative. Very appreciative to our community for the support as well.
Thank you for all you do.
Trustee Kumar, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a couple of things to say. One, I grew up with the Village of Villa Park Library. It's a very important aspect to me. I used to bike there all the time, and my kids grew up with it. The summer reading program is a gem. It has always been a gem. It's very creative. It's very enthusiastic, and I ask kids to start that summer reading program. Read as much as you can. It's going to get you places, and it makes you think. And I would like to thank all the library staff and all the people on the board for the great work they're doing with things like the reading program. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Just wanted to say real quick, they're a great partner with the village and help us with a lot of things, including the opening of our leadership academy. So I appreciate you guys being on board with that and many other things.
Sure. Our pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Okay, item 6B is a proclamation for National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 14th through the 20th, 2024. And whereas the DuPage Public Safety Communication Center, known as DUCOM, has been successfully serving the public safety communication needs of the Village of Villa Park and surrounding communities since 1975. And whereas DUCOM telecommunicators are the primary contacts for those who dial 911 and often act as the first and most critical contact for those in need of assistance. And whereas, while enduring long shifts and handling frequent life and death emergencies, the dedicated efforts of DUCOM telecommunicators are essential to supporting effective emergency responses. And whereas public safety telecommunicators have made substantial contributions to the apprehension of dangerous criminals, the suppression of fires, and the care of those in need of medical treatment, among other emergency response tasks. And whereas Public Safety Telecommunicators Week gives us the opportunity to recognize public safety telecommunicators for their commitment to safeguarding the lives and property of Villa Park residents. Now therefore, I, Nick Cazone, President of the Village of Villa Park, do hereby proclaim April 14th through the 20th, 2024 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the Village of Villa Park. And these are definitely unsung heroes. Every time you call 911, you're going to be talking to one of them, and there's a lot of responsibility on their shoulders, and they do a great job. That's a great thing to proclaim here. Item 6C is a proclamation for Arbor Day on April 26th, 2024. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed that a special day be set aside for planting trees to be known as Arbor Day. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed around the world and is celebrated on the last Friday in April in the state of Illinois. And whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our village increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas for the 39th year in a row, Villa Park has been designated as a Tree City USA. And whereas for the third year in a row, Villa Park has been designated as a Tree City USA Growth Award. And whereas Villa Park will celebrate Arbor Day with a tree planting ceremony on April 26, 2024, now therefore I, Nick Cazone, Village President of the Village of Villa Park, do hereby proclaim April 26, 2024 as Arbor Day in the Village of Villa Park. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. And again, this is a great thing, and Manager Guerrero usually picks out a great tree to plant in a good position to put it, so we look forward to the 26th. Oh, okay, I guess it's going to be at the library, so, great, excellent. Thank you. Trustee Kumar.
Can Matt kind of elaborate on our tree planting, spring planting, that we're moving it to fall or whatever, and that kind of stuff? Kind of just a discussion on our Villa Park tree planting, the 50/50 program or whatever.
Sure, actually, I'm going to turn that over to Public Works Director Guerra, but as you're right, as you said, we are moving our planting back for the reasons our Director Guerra will explain.
Thank you. I guess to build on it, I guess it's kind of perfect timing that the Arbor Day tree will be planted at the library with National Library Week to replace 2 large trees that were removed. So we'll get some more details out on that as we get closer. In terms of delaying our spring planting, that's with regards to the cicadas. Obviously, that is a concern, some of the younger trees. So instead of planting a bunch of trees and then trying to protect them, which would be a little bit costly, one of the suggestions is to delay until planting to the fall. So we will be delaying those, other than minimal trees that we will plant this spring as we have to, as the Arbor Day tree, but the rest of them will be deferred to the fall planting season to help kind of combat some of the damage done by the cicadas.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item A, is appointments to commissions. And these are appointments to the following commissions, which we discussed a little bit in the committee of the whole meeting. Reappointment of Jose Castillo as Commissioner to the Historical Preservation Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027. Reappointment of Larry Calvert, Mike Olowski, Ken Jackson, and Jason Jarrett as Commissioners to the Zoning and Planning Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027. Reappointment of Jay Pinkos, John Cuthbertson, Carl Timmerman, and Karen Timmerman as Commissioners to the Traffic and Safety Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027. Reappointment of Robert Wagner as Commissioner to the Environmental Concerns Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027. Reappointment of Ray Rupp Search and Chuck Howard to the Firefighter Pension Board for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027. The reappointment of Larry Calvert and J.B. Hochbaum as Commissioners to the Economic Development Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027. Reappointment of Albert Balthus as Commissioner to the Board of Fire and Police Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027. Reappointment of Donna Noxon and Mike Storino as Commissioners to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2026. The reappointment of Mary Brunner Hintz and Eliza Beauchamp as Commissioners to the Community Fund Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2027. And the appointment of Benish Khurshid as Commissioner to the Community Fund Commission for a term from May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2025, filling a term that was ending April 30th, 2025. Okay, do we have a motion for the appointments and reappointments? Trustee Kumar?
I will make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Patrick? Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Kumar?
I am just happy to see a lot of these names and all these commissioners. They do a tremendous service to us as the board in terms of the information and the collection and all they do. It's basically voluntary service, and I thank every one of them. I know we're having a reception to thank them this Friday, and I'm very happy with everything they do. I'm happy to see some new commissioners. Benesh was a pleasure to work with recently, and I'm very happy that she's joining the Fund Commission. So overall, the commissions are, to me, a very valuable resource, and I value everyone on them and all that they do.
Good. Thank you. Okay, any other comments? Okay, Clerk Renecki, please.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, item 9 is our consent agenda. Item A is bill listings for the week of March 25th, 2024 and April 1st, 2024 for a total amount of $1,469,274.68 and approval of the minutes of the March 25th, 2024 Village Board of Trustees meeting. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Corkery, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Okay, questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, item 10, our ordinances for a first reading is an ordinance amending Article 14, Section 14.1, measurements of the zoning ordinance. Manager Harline.
This ordinance amends Article 14 Measurements and Definitions, Section 14.1 Measurements, by adding regulation clarification including contextual setbacks for infill development, permitted setback obstructions or encroachments, and building height. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on March 14, 2024, where they unanimously recommended approval of the text amendments. As the nature of these amendments are for clarity and removing inconsistencies in the zoning ordinance, staff requests the village board entertain the idea of waiving a first reading of the ordinance for approval, and Community Economic Development Director Mark McLaughlin is here if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, since this is for a first reading, if anyone wants to make a motion to waive it, we can. Trustee Kumar?
I have a question. Now, if we waive one of these, do we have to waive all of them?
No, it's
No,
individual.
just, we can do one at a time. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, I will make that motion to waive the first reading.
Okay, do we have a second on that motion? Trustee Corkery?
I'll second.
Okay, questions or comments on the motion? Clerk Kornecki?
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, so do we have a motion on the ordinance amending Article 14, Section 14.1? Trustee Cordova? Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano? Okay, questions or comments? I bring up, I think Dr. McLaughlin's done a good job in trying to clean up some of our ordinances, especially on these, where there's wording has changed, and, you know, when we changed the zoning, so staff is doing a great job on that. Thank you for that. Okay, Clerk Kornecki?
Okay, Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, 10B is an ordinance to increase the water rate. Manager Harline.
The village received the DuPage Water Commission draft budget, which includes a rate increase of 3.4% or 19 cents per 1,000 gallons starting May 1st of 2024. Their cost increase is due to the rate of increase from the city of Chicago. The village's water rate study only planned a 1% rate increase in the 2021 Stanley Consultant study, so this increase is too large to absorb with the current rate structure. Therefore, this proposed ordinance will raise the village current rate by 1.36% or 14 cents per thousand gallons. The proposal will increase the monthly cost of water by approximately 84 cents per thousand gallons. The proposal will increase the monthly cost of water, I'm sorry, I just read that, for an average, by 84 cents for 1,000 gallons for an average family. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance amending the water rates and charges. Director, Public Works Director Mike Guerra is here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kumar.
The average rate, I'm confused by what was said. Is it the average rate for the average household? What size household? Is it 84 cents altogether? It's very confusing.
So, sorry if I had a typo in that. It's 6,000 gallons is the average usage
Okay.
for a family, so that 14 cents equates to the 83 cents or 84 cents per family.
Okay.
It's all depending on your usage, but on average, most.
Okay, so the water bill will increase about $1 to $2 approximately, is what you're saying?
Per month.
Per month.
yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
good.
Okay, so again, this is a first reading. If anyone wants a motion to waive the first reading. Okay. All right, so we will bring this back up on April 22nd. And again, this is due to the city of Chicago increasing the rates And again, one of the things DuPage Water Commission is looking at is sourcing their own water, which would be a long-term project, but City of Chicago is not doing much to help. They're not very interested in working with DuPage Water Commission, which is their largest, the City of Chicago's largest customer. They get the most money from the Water Commission, so unfortunately, we got to live with the City of Chicago right now, so. Okay, item 10C is an ordinance amending section 3-313A of the municipal code of the Village of Villa Park to increase the maximum number of licenses permitted under the Class AAA liquor license. Manager Harline.
This ordinance amends section 3-313A to add one additional Class AAA liquor license, thereby increasing the total to 2 Class AAA or AAA licenses. Village staff and the Liquor Commission recommended passage of the ordinance, which requires 2 readings or waiving of the first reading. They made a presentation to the Board of Trustees on September 11th about their proposal, and the consensus of the board was to move forward with the project. Of course, that does not obligate you in any way to approve this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, again, this is a first reading. If anyone wants to waive the first reading. Trustee Corkery.
I'll make a motion to waive the first reading.
Okay, we have a second on that?
I'll second that one.
Okay, Trustee Cordova. Questions or comments on that motion? Okay, Clerk Konecki, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
As has been the tradition, I will recuse myself.
Thank you. Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
And President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, so do we have a motion on the ordinance amending section 3-313A of the municipal code? Trustee Cordova?
Yep.
Okay, second, Trustee Kumar. Okay, questions or comments on the ordinance? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Konecki. I'm sorry.
So
Trustee Alfano.
I do have one question, and this might be more of a request, just for the future too. Class AAA liquor licenses means what?
Sale of beer and water for consumption on the premises.
Beer and wine.
I'm sorry, what did I say? Beer and wine.
Okay.
I'm reading, I can't read. Beer and wine for consumption on the premises and for sale of beer and wine only in original packages for the consumption off the premises.
Trustee Kumar.
I have a suggestion, because we're going to ask this question again and again. If they could just, whenever we're dealing with a liquor license, can we just put in a link so we can just go and look at which type it is? Because it's not clear all the time, and it seems like we're asking the same question again and again. So, in the interest of time,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Put it in the handbook, right?
Yeah. Well, it's in the ordinance itself. It says that, but yeah, we can do a link to whatever.
They just give us a link
Cut
to
and
the,
paste that and put it in the, either one.
yeah, somewhere.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. No problem. Any other questions, comments? Clerk Konecki.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
As exciting as it is to vote on liquor issues, I will recuse myself.
Yes, thank you. President Kazone?
Yes, okay, so Mr. Wong will be able to get his license, get that going. Okay, item 10D is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code regarding special event permit requirements and nuisance parking prohibitions. And if anyone wants to waive the first reading, Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to waive the first reading.
Trustee Cordova?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments on the motion? Trustee Kumar?
I'm glad we're moving on this quickly.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Clerk Konecki?
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
I'll say no.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, so do we have a motion to, for the ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the municipal code? Do we have a motion? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Trustee
Second.
Cordova? Okay, questions or comments?
I have a question.
Trustee Cordova?
once this becomes an ordinance, it's immediate? This can happen today, like tomorrow? Like how long
Once-
does it take to?
Yeah, once it's published, then it becomes effective, correct?
Correct.
It was 30 days.
It's 30 days?
I thought it was,
I think,
isn't it, see?
I'm just scanning to the bottom of it.
Section 5.
Yeah, yeah,
That
section
this
5.
ordinance is in full force and effect 30 days from and after its
Yeah.
passage and approval according to law.
Yep.
So 30 days from today?
So 30 days.
Yeah.
From when it's published. So it would be, what, Wednesday it gets published?
So when can the enforcement start on this? We have to wait the whole month and 2 days?
It has to be in effect before we can enforce it.
Are there is there anything now that we can do? I know there was that agreement that was signed years ago.
Yeah, we were just discussing that. I mean, if someone wants to make a motion to amend the ordinance, that it's effective upon publishing, we could do that.
Can we make that change now?
Yes.
All right. Can I make a motion then now?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to update that term to be immediate when it's published.
Okay, so you want to revise the ordinance instead of 30 days, that it's effective upon
Publishing.
passage and approval?
Yeah.
Correct, okay. We have a second on that? Trustee Kumar?
I would like to give a week. I mean, we're going from 30 days down to no time at all.
Oh, we got to get a second first.
Yeah, so I will second that, but I want to amend that amendment, so I don't know how that works.
You say no to this one, right?
Yeah, I have to say no to this one, right?
Well, we could,
But we've got to get a second first.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
She
she
just
seconded
I
it.
seconded it.
Oh,
so
versus,
Yeah.
have discussion.
We're having discussion now.
We do another one?
Well,
If it fails.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, there's
All
other
right, so we
comments.
what we can do is vote on this, and if it fails, then you amend it,
Okay.
okay? Yeah, Trustee Patrick?
Thank you. My question is just regarding, is this specifically for this ordinance, or is this in regards to all future ordinances as well?
This is specific to this ordinance.
Thank you.
Yep.
In addition, there's various provisions of the special event permit licensing requirement that are applicable still today. So this would only apply to the amendment. So anything existing on the code right now is in force and effect.
Okay. Okay, so this would be,
President Kazal,
oh, no, sure.
you got it.
I'm sorry. Trustee Alfano?
So if we were to vote for this to take effect immediately, what other events would its immediacy affect? If that makes sense.
Really,
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I mean, so the crux of this is if you are causing an event that is where your people are parking on other people's property and they're complaining, or you're, causing enough of a disturbance that it requires police presence, or those are the things that we're changing here, or mobility or access of emergency vehicles. So technically, any event, if it was doing those things and there was, cause for enforcement, would be effective. So, but the biggest problem we're having right now is with one particular location, but the law is not written in any way specifically toward one location. It's just that's where we're having the problem right now.
Right, okay.
And this ordinance is already in effect. We are just amending it, adding certain portions to it. So
Yes.
whatever event required it's still in effect. It
Yes,
was already there.
I understand that. I also know, though, that there was some discussion over not just having traffic and safety, but having other commissions look at it, because we didn't want to create other problems by trying to solve another.
Yeah.
Or by trying to solve one.
Trustee Kumar?
And that's kind of why I'm asking for that extra week to kind of let people kind of possibly look at it, or at least put their eyes on it a little bit, in terms of it being active and activating. Because if there is some problem that comes up that we're not seeing at the board level at this point, we will be able to assess that,
Okay.
Did get a couple of comments on it, but
Trustee Cordova?
I know that this is, it has a lot to do with public safety, right? I mean, if we look at the last couple weeks of, the weekends have been nice, and that particular spot has been a trouble spot. I think this past week they were racing in the parking lot itself. I'm not sure. This weekend, we're going to have 69 degrees on Saturday, 71 on Sunday. It's going to be okay on Friday. I'd like to get this kind of pushed so that we can, stop anything horrible from happening. I was on YouTube this week watching videos of people, and that is terrifying, of some of the videos that are coming out of this particular location. So for me, if we can get this done this week so we can enforce by this weekend, I'm all for it.
Okay. Trustee Kozar.
So trustee Kumar, you wanted this to not be in effect for another week as a kind of a compromise position so that our law enforcement can have the tools that they need. Would it be beneficial if we pass this with the deletion of 5, that it becomes effective immediately if our police station deliver this to the owner of, this ordinance is about strats. I mean, we're calling it out, but if they delivered this ordinance to them and made them aware of it, would that be helpful? Because I think what I heard you say was that more eyes could be on it. It's not that we can come back and change it within that week. We could change it at the next meeting if we wanted to, but not during that week. What I hear is just your concern is that we pass this, nobody knows about it, and how do you adjust something you don't even know about?
Yeah, I
Trustee
think,
Kumar.
yeah, I think it is important to give people due notice to anything. I understand it has been a problem in the past, but irrespective, I think from a perspective of any business owner, and a fairness perspective, you need to get notice of any changes to ordinances and have time, hopefully, to change your strategy. And that's a hope I have, that it won't have to be enforced if it, in fact, now, that's just a hopeful perspective in terms of so on and so forth. But it is gonna go into effect that they can immediately. I also know that law enforcement has, just because it can be enforced, will probably use common sense in enforcement, and take their time to enforce certain things just based on previous experience, I believe. So enforcement, the ability to enforce does not say that it will be enforced. Actually, we have, it looks like certain things in that location that we had the ability to enforce for almost years, and yet we have yet to enforce them. So, if this is gonna be the way to enforce it, I'm fine. I just feel like if we've been waiting, at least let's give the fairness, time that it needs.
Chief Rios, you want to address that?
Yes, thank you for the time. To be fair and prudent, and to be a good community partner, we would definitely have a conversation with the business. We wouldn't just start enforcing it or right from the get-go. We would give some education. We would do this for any kind of traffic law or amendment to any parking thing. So we would have a sit-down with the owners of the establishment and go over it and what could be done moving forward. He wants to be a good community partner, it sounds like, from the times that we were there. But in listening to the comments from the last meeting, it is a huge safety issue. If you imagine over the last 10 years, somebody in your driveway revving their engines on a Friday night, Saturday night, and last night was just as busy on a Sunday for 3 straight nights every weekend for over 10 years when the weather is nice. And now that's not even to cover the safety concerns. You have the noise issues. And these are some of the things that I wanted to address, that is a huge safety concern when you have kids, teenagers, adults that are on the median of a street that's a major thoroughfare that's 6 lanes apart. They're on the public way, and they go right up to the curb. One of the officers just told me today that there was somebody who was just kept sticking his leg out as cars were going by, as cars were driving by. It's not a safe situation. And so anything that we can do to kind of help that, and this isn't the end all, this ordinance. This isn't going to cure this. Social media can pop up, and they can pop up anywhere. We've had it by Bob's Furniture, where we had hundreds of cars show up. And it puts a strain on the community, on the residents, and our police department. We are maxed, and it didn't allow us to go to a call yesterday for service because we're all tied up at strats. And that's the part that I wanted to impart upon you.
Trustee Kumar.
So, given the statement by our police chief, I would be okay with immediate enforcement and keeping the ordinance as the change.
Okay. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. As Trustee Alfano had mentioned, is that at our last meeting, the board did request that this topic be brought to the Traffic and Safety Commission. And I had the privilege of attending that meeting, and the meeting, first of all, Deputy Chief McCann did an excellent job of explaining the situation, explaining what we can, what we can't do legally. I was very impressed with his presentation. I also think that the YouTube video that was showed really gave you an idea of what is actually happening on this property. I think it is important that we continue to utilize our commissions for instances like this. And the commission, at the meeting, not everybody was in agreement. It was not an unanimous vote, but what was refreshing to see was the discussion that was taking place during this meeting. Ideas that were thought of that might not have been thought of before. Certain situations. It was an opportunity for everybody on the commission and the public to be able to try to come to a solution collectively, to be on the same page. One of the biggest issues that came up was more or less the dilemma of the timing. And I believe that as with the majority of that commission, all recognized the safety issues and the safety hazards and the necessity for moving this along quickly. However, there was some confusion as to how the board plays a role in this as well, and how ordinances are drafted and how they're made and how they're changed. And as a board member up here, and being lucky to have enough board members up here that are like-minded as well and realize the safety issue and these safety concerns, it's that we have the opportunity to collectively change ordinances whenever we need to or see fit, especially brought to us by a recommendation of a committee. So the board had also stated that this is something, and this was also agreed upon at the Traffic and Safety Commission meeting, is that this is a topic that's going to continue to stay on their agendas as a talking point, to see how things are going, how things are progressing, what we've done good, what we could do better, and what our challenges are. So with that in mind, I'm not worried about passing this resolution tonight, because I know that as long as these talks continue, as long as we continue to involve our commissions and get their recommendations, we as a board can take that at any time and revamp these ordinances how we see fit or how is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Okay, so Clerk Konecki, can we have a vote on the motion by Trustee Cordova to make this an immediate effective date and waiving the 30 days?
Okay, Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar? Yes. Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, can we have a motion on the ordinance then?
We already have it.
To approve already.
Oh, this, okay. Okay, so discussion on the ordinance itself? Trustee Kozar?
Don't we already have on the books something that says that we cannot, that we have, in our parking lots and around our building, we have to have access for emergency vehicles?
In this particular case, and please, if Director McLaughlin would back me up on this, they don't have that at that location. They don't have that 18 feet around their building because it's an outside space. So it doesn't fall under that, to my understanding. What this ordinance would do would then make them accountable to make sure that you can get an emergency vehicle into the business safely. And I've driven through there on numerous occasions when it's been busy. It'll take you about 20 minutes to get through, if not longer. And there's people standing, they're not moving. If it's a squad car, if it's an unmarked squad car, you're going to get a lot of comments, some derogatory comments, because they don't want us to be in there as well. So this ordinance then kind of cleans that part up, that then there has to be a path for emergency vehicles to have in order to access the property.
So I think that's a bigger issue for our building code at large, because it shouldn't really matter if it's a special event or not. We have to have ambulance, fire vehicles, whatever, being able to access those buildings wherever they are. I know this is not your purview, but Mark, I mean, it may be something that we need to look at village-wide to make sure that our parking lots give us the emergency vehicle access that they need across the board, event or not. I have a number of kind of issues with the way that this is written. Overall, I'm supportive of it. I want to see it passed. I want law enforcement to have the tools that they need to be able to create a safe environment. But part of that is having an ordinance that I think works. What is the fee for getting this special event permit?
$75.
So, and then what is the penalty for not getting a special event permit?
The minimum fine for not getting a permit would be $150. Maximum fine is $750 per occurrence.
And how do you determine minimum to max?
That's up to the municipal court judge. Usually it's based on if they've been a repeat offender, if you keep coming back to court on the same thing, the fines are usually increased. That's the way that they usually go up higher.
Okay, because I could easily see the scenario where somebody says, I'll pay the $150, I'll pay the $500, I'll pay the $750. What does it cost to hire 2 or 4 security guards to maintain that property?
It sort of depends. There's a couple different rates. One, if you're doing it through a special event, it's $50 an hour, which is a rate we need to revisit. If you do it through if you go through the police website, it's whatever the average cost for overtime police officer with benefits, which is closer to 80.
Right, in a squad car, correct.
A squad car, yeah. So there is, if they asked for well, there's 2 things. First of all, there's a request for it, and then there's finding officers to do it. But so theoretically, they could get it for $175. Now, obviously, $150 is less than $175. So the first time through, it wasn't. If you're just getting, well, and if you get them for 4 hours each, then you're talking about, it's substantially more expensive still to follow the code than to have the fine. But the maximum fine you can charge in municipal court is $750.
Okay, because I think that's like a mechanical issue for this ordinance. Just what the fine versus the penalty versus the reward is for getting this. I know way back when I started Fuel, I had conversations with the previous manager because I had issues with the way that this statute was written. To wit, he told me that I would need a special event permit if I hired somebody on my property to blow up balloons for children. And pointed out where in here that it would control that. So the ordinance is, I think, needs a little bit of work. We define special events using the term may have, so it makes it subjective. And I can read you specifically, but in the red lettering down here, it says, within the village when it may have a direct effect upon public property. So makes it a little subjective. Ultimately, I'm going to go through my questions and I'm going to recommend that this come back to the board in 30 or 60 days so that we can keep looking at it. We don't have to fix every potential defect at this point, but I'm just pointing some things out. So the may have makes it subjective, so you may or may not know that you need a permit if it may have. One of the provisions in here that is redlined, yeah, I believe it's redlined, says, if it requires off-site parking to accommodate expected attendance. So we have, for example, the captain's room over on Villa going in. This would affect them. I don't want it to affect them, but I'm just throwing that out there. Because of our new policy in terms of older buildings and the parking lots that they have, that we're going to accommodate the parking lots that they have, you know, and not require limiting our businesses to whatever parking lot that they have if it's a pre-existing property. So for example, and I don't mean to single out the captain's room, I think it's a great idea, and I want them, you know, to not have to pay a special event permit every time that they have an event. But if they have limited parking, I could see how this could be an issue. And we're just trying to make an ordinance that works for everybody across the board. And then when we move down to section 3 on H and G, which is existing, this is not red line that we're changing. But, so H, I mean, I just don't really understand it. It's unlawful for any person to leave an unoccupied motor vehicle or motorcycle in any public parking lot area and then leave the premises thereof except with the knowledge and consent of the owner, leasee, or operator of any public parking area. So wouldn't that be parking? You know, like, as I read that, that just means you parked your car and you walked to the event. I don't understand why it's in here. I've never understood that. And since we're changing it, if anybody could enlighten me, maybe I'm misreading it. The owner, leasee, or operator, and then it contains the clause of any public parking area. So that would be the owner of any public parking area, the leasee of any public parking area, or the operator of any public parking area. I just don't understand that.
And if I may, we have not used that site because it would be a $150 fine as opposed to a parking ticket, which is a much more reduced fee of $35. So if you want to hit teenagers with that kind of, you know, ticket, it's costly, and it's going to create issues. So the department traditionally has not used that, you know, in that manner.
But is H then, your interpretation of H just means that if somebody were to pull into Strat's parking lot and then get out of their car and leave their vehicle, they'd be subject to this?
Well, what we're experiencing, what we're seeing is that if they park at O'Reilly's or they park at Supreme Lobster, and then they walk across the street. I think that's the intent, and obviously I was not around back then. But again, that's why the police department's been reluctant to use that, because the fine structure kicks in and it is much higher. We would like to see some sort of amendment to the parking ordinance to somehow reflect that, so we can reduce that fine or fee.
Because H is just for public parking. I don't think it has anything to do with private parking.
Well, but also later on, there's a red line of defining what public parking is on private property. For businesses.
Okay. So
it's actually in section 15-802. Public parking is defined as off-street parking and loading area of a commercial or industrial use available for use by its customers, employees, invitees, or any other means ingress and egress. And that's in a different section, which is also a red line.
Okay. So am I missing that on this one, or is this, are we just talking about this ordinance?
That provision of the code has not changed. So you're only seeing the various provisions of the city code that there are recommendations for any change. Okay. So that 15-802 section is existing already in the city code. It's not, that definition of public parking area is not being changed.
Right. But it gives definition.
And
okay.
Just for clarity, that's like in the zoning ordinance, when a business comes in and says they need 20 stalls based on their use, those are then falling under that public parking. So the public in this section refers to anyone that can park there for that business, not the public realm like right-of-way or street parking. The public is going to go to that retail place. The public is going to go to that restaurant.
You're saying that's H?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I just
Yeah, the
don't
whole
read it that
section,
way.
yeah, public parking in the entire section is the parking that is available for the public to go to those private property businesses.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. So it's your feeling that we need H in here?
H can stay in there, but again, we would still need something down the road that addresses the parking issue of hundreds of cars that are in parking lots without the permission of the owner of those businesses.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be more of a trespass then?
But again, do you want us to cite these vehicles at $150 apiece? That's why a parking ticket seems a little bit more plausible.
Well, I would say yes. I mean, if we have issues, I would want them cited at $150 each. I don't think that would have to happen all that often than a $35 parking ticket. If we have this like mob group, that descends upon it.
Which could then incite the mob. We're sorely outnumbered. We're 100 to 1, if not 200 to 1, if not 300 to 1. And when teenagers get together, they act a certain way. They feel emboldened, they feel brazen, especially when it comes to law enforcement. I don't think we want to be that confrontational.
Okay. So this would give you that option if you wanted it, but you don't have to use it.
Correct.
And then G. G is preventing people from driving through a public parking lot or it's unlawful into a public parking area. So this is not on private property. This is a public parking area?
Again, I think it goes back to the definition of a public parking area at a business.
Okay.
So it's basically a parking area that's accessible to the public, even though it's on private property.
Okay. And then section 1, I think just from a statutory construction standpoint, so it reads special event, and then means any event in the village that, and then you have red line and it defines what that is. And then at the end of the red line, it says services or that, again, so now you're starting a new clause, and it says uses the village or other village-owned property, temporarily provides food service, and so forth. So it's all these different things. As I interpret that, just from a statutory standpoint, a public event, or a special event rather, would be if you do all of these things that are I think a better way to write that would be, would require any of the following, or utilize any of the following, and then list them individually. Because certainly you don't mean that a special event has to use all of these things, from special fencing to portable toilets to street lighting or electrical service or water service. You're saying any one of these things can trigger it. And
Would you like to propose to amend it so that they're specifically itemized and identified
yes.
as written? Okay.
Can they be or statements? Because you're
They
saying,
did.
well, I can leave.
Yeah.
In addition, you had a comment, since we're on that section 1, regarding this special event. And in the very first redlined sentence, it relates to when an event that may have a direct effect upon public property. I believe it's written that way because we're anticipating that it would have that type of impact. So I would recommend that you would change it to is likely to have instead of has, you know, because we want to, we require this permit prior to the event taking place. So that's why it's written as may have instead of, you know, the affirmative has an impact on public property. So if we're going to amend this section, if you would like, since you recommended that, you may want to add that to the amendment
Okay.
so that it reads is likely to have.
Okay. So, I mean, I can put these in one larger motion, or we can separate it in 3 motions, because I'll bring out the likely have. I'll bring out that these triggering events need to be itemized, followed by the same semicolon that would say something to the effect of would require any of the following events. And then my third motion, or my third element there would be, I'd like to revisit this. Traffic and safety meets the first week of each month. So maybe if we revisit this in 45 days, that would give traffic and safety the opportunity to have an update on it, and then it comes back to the board and we can look at it to make potential changes. So do you want me to do that all in one, or do you want me to separate it?
Yeah, probably just do it all as one, I think.
Okay.
Unless there's an objection.
Yeah, unless, if somebody could always, on that. But going to the, where you have that long string with commas, at the end of it, it says or. So isn't that just kind of implying that any one of those would trigger it?
Trustee
Yeah.
Kumar has her hand up, but I did want to, ask her first.
Trustee Coon.
I have an issue in that we're putting in a new special permit, and I'm very glad we're doing that for the Stratz condition and that particular business, but at the same time, this is a universal thing we're putting together. So I think we haven't fully vetted all the ramifications of any law we're setting forth. And the public parking issue, the statement of public parking, I have to agree, is vague in that if you own a business, the technical mindset, at least, I would think, is the parking lot in front of your business is yours. Now, you're saying it's not. It belongs to anybody who is on that street. No. Then how are they, that would be considered private to me, privately owned by the business, right? And how could they park there?
It's not an ownership issue. It's if the public can utilize that parking to go to the business, then it is a public lot. Public parking in this instance, which is separate from a private ownership issue where you're parking behind a gate, where you've got secured vehicles. But if you're going to pull up to Jimmy John's, that is the public parking lot. But it's obviously owned privately by property.
Technically speaking, I go to Jimmy John's, but if I want to go, let's say there's a Taco Bell next to it, and it does happen that randomly you park at Jimmy John's and go to the Taco Bell next door, if that's the case. But overall, you should be parking at the Taco Bell if you go to the Taco Bell, and you should be parking at the Jimmy John's if you go to the Jimmy John's.
So that is what H addresses.
So H, that's the thing, I think H is not clear to address, that you cannot park in, it kind of, instead of addressing it, makes it feel like you can park in a parking lot, because you say it's public, you can park in a parking lot, which is not yours. So,
Yeah, the entire section regarding the nuisance refers to the public parking lot consistently. It's when you switch to another section of the code, like the zoning ordinance, that you have to look at it completely differently. But because this is part of the municipal code, not the zoning ordinance, that's how it's treated.
So is it possible to change the wording on that to make it clearer? Because that, as I say, it seems like that Stratz has the people coming to Stratz have the right to park in Meadery and other places, but they don't.
No, they
is
don't.
what
No,
you're saying.
H does
doesn't
not.
say that.
H says, and I don't have it in front of me, obviously, is that you can not park your vehicle on a property over here, leave the premises, meaning the property, and then go to somebody else's business or somebody else's property. So if you park at Target, you cannot leave the large Target property and go to another business and leave your vehicle parked and utilizing somebody else's public parking. That's what H says.
So if you park at Target, but then you go to like the mobile store there,
No, Strats.
Or Strats.
or
Yeah.
Strats.
You cannot do that per H. Now, sir, for clarity, in front of Vasa, Dunkin', Chipotle, whatever, all one premises. Because you can park in front of any of them and go anywhere you want because it's a strip. It's one premises. Right.
Okay, so it comes to whether you demark the premise or not demark the premise. So, and that wouldn't be clear to people parking, honestly, that's
and
only clear to people who work for Villa Park.
Right,
So
but to-
that could be an issue.
But to Chief's
and-
point, across the street is not the same premise.
Yeah, I'm not.
Manager Harlan, yes.
And just a couple of quick things. First of all, remember, all of this is in section 13-18, and all of that refers, or I'm sorry, I'm getting the section wrong, but all of that is under the context of being about, no, it's 13-18, oh, whatever, the context of special use permits. In addition to what we already have said, these are some things that might cause you to need to get a special use permit. We are adding these things that have a direct effect on public property, traffic flow, public health, safety. These are additional ors that could
You mean
cause us.
special event? Is that what you're referring to? Not special use, special event.
Special event.
Okay.
They say special use. I'm sorry, special event permit, section 13.802, which was what we've been talking about the entire night, but in licenses, permits, and business regulations, that's the chapter 13. So what we're talking about is editing that. Now, if we want to, I get that there's some other things that you guys want to adjust or change about this. If we want to make 4 different amendments to this code, to me, I think the best course of action is to not do it all in one reading. Get those changes in and get it approved at a second meeting, or approve this and just send your email, send your recommendations, and we'll come back with a future amendments, because I don't think it's going to be as productive to read out a bunch of to read out several different changes. The other thing is it's important to have that discussion about, this is all within the context of a special event. And it could be, if the Fun Commission decided to start having drag races, this would then, would apply to them as well. I'm not suggesting that you do, but I'm exaggerating to make a point. But so that's, and it also doesn't, I know some people are concerned, it doesn't mention car shows anywhere. So if you're having a peaceful car show in the parking lot over by Sonic, this does not apply. There are some things that apply for special use permits, and they do it every year, and I don't know, they maybe don't even need to, like the events that are over there that they do over at Wildfire. We still take their $75 and are aware of it. They usually pay for their security elsewhere. But so these are some things, but we know that this event keeps happening, and that a couple weeks ago, we shut down all of North Avenue, all of the eastbound North Avenue, because it was getting to the point where the cars coming out of Strats were making tremendous noise, wrecking havoc in traffic. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but so those are things that we want to also be able to go back to them on Monday with a ticket saying you didn't get a special use permit. The most difficult thing about this, and that's something to sell in court, is the level of complicity that Stratrios Matzos has in this event. I mean, that is the key thing that's difficult to prove, although it is not that hard to prove that he has awareness about this. So that is the most difficult part of enforcing this ordinance. But there is also another way. If you went to Jimmy John, or what was it, Taco Bell and what was next door? If you-
Jimmy John's and
if you
Taco
parked-
Bell.
If you parked in Taco Bell's lot and went to Jimmy John's, the Taco Bell owner, depending upon how the signage is, could ask to have your car towed. That's an option, but not many property owners over there want to use it. That's why we've tried to come up with these other solutions. Because there is at least one incidence where somebody got mad that they, had their car towed. So there have been different approaches to this over the past 15 years. That is one that's still open, it's still on the books. We're trying to impact the neighboring property owners as little as possible. So that's just one of the possible ways that we're moving forward. It's not perfect. So amendments are not, if we need to do amendments, let's do amendments. Let's get it right. And that's it. I'm done. Got it.
Trustee Alfano.
So I know that we're focusing on evening events here, but I do know that there are some advertisements for daytime events on the weekends. And
Historically, not an issue.
So it's not during the work week, I don't think. It's still on so when we're looking at parking for neighboring businesses, what does that look like, and does this code help them?
Well, I think one of the things that's going to test that is the Kentucky Derby, at Crazy Port.
Yep.
But they also hire back officers. They have tents put up. They fill out permits. And it is a huge event. We give traffic control, but it's under the understanding that we know what the operation is. When these ad hoc car meetups happen, we're playing catch up, and then we have to address all the safety issues, and then trying to get these cars out of all these individual lots. It's very cumbersome. We also had an argument between management and one business where one manager wanted to leave the cars there, another manager wanted the vehicles gone. So we're getting conflicting views at times, and our officers have to move quick and safely to get these cars out.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Kumar.
What's to say that I just don't put in a permit for $75 for every day? Once you do that, it doesn't solve the problem because you're going to have a permit. How does it solve the problem?
Again, it's another tool in trying to work with the community. It doesn't solve the problem, to answer your question, but it allows us to then have that open conversation, say we have a mechanism for you to fill out a application, and it has all the different stipulations in the special event form, whether you need electrical additional, whether you need tents, you need security, whatever the things you may need, and then you start having that open dialogue, and that's what that help creates.
Okay, because the question is, I could fill out 75 and I could say, I don't need any of this, I didn't know. And that's what's I feel like if this has been a recurring problem, that is going to happen with whatever business comes out there. Yeah, it's about information, right? They don't have, there's nothing that says that business is going to give full information by filling out the permit.
In addition to the payment of the permit fee, the special event permit will also require that the applicant pay any village costs established for the holding of the event. So if the special event requires additional police, the applicant would be responsible for paying the costs that the village has to undertake to have police secure that event. So there are additional costs that would be required, dependent upon the type of event.
Okay, so getting the permit allows the village to basically bill for any extra costs that we may have from that event. So if someone doesn't get a permit because they have a backyard, it's got to be a business. So a business has a pizza-a-thon or whatever, and people are picking up pizzas, as they go. And they don't really get a permit for that, even though it's a special event. No, they get a permit, but they don't say that they need officers there. And it goes smoothly, then the village is not going to do anything about it. But if they need officers and they go there, then they can bill them. Is that the purpose of that extra caveat you just stated?
What the code says is that the applicant pays any costs established by the village for additional services that the event requires, And the costs are based on a list of fees that the village has, and the applicant will pay those fees prior to the event if they can be determined. Otherwise, the balance afterward would be paid 30 days after the event.
Okay, and I'm actually fine with all that. The thing is, I think it becomes informational inequity because this is a new thing. So I would like some kind of publication done about special event permitting eventually, with all these costs entailed in one place that can be accessed by, just like we have our booklet today for our commissioners, and we're going to have our booklet for our trustees, an online version. You don't need to print it out, something that tells what is meant by a special event permit, what we're expecting, and probably people will access that. I don't think we have a full vet out of all the ramifications.
Okay. Trustee Alfano.
So in reflecting on all of the information that we received this meeting and last meeting, knowing that there was something on the books that we could have done to now, I think it's about consistency. And so whatever we decide we're going to do, if we want to adopt this, there really does need to be some consistency here. If you're a parent, you know that you have to stay consistent. I think that if you're going to want this messaging to hit home, whether it's for the people who are attending the event, whether it's for whoever is hosting events, I think it is about consistency. And I feel like if we say, well, we're going to try this first, and then we're going to do this, and then maybe we are going to try this, while I understand some of the pieces of that, I also feel like that's kind of why we are at this juncture, 15 years, 20 years, however many years into it. And I think that that's where we're getting loopholes, that why we're here. So whatever we're looking at, I would encourage us here on the dais to maintain that consistency and really look at things that can remain consistent.
Okay. Trustee Kozar, did you want to make your motion?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. So my first motion, well, it's going to be one large motion,
Well, we got the votes to vote on.
would be motion that the language is changed in section 1 under the red line, where it reads, within the village, when it, and then stop there and remove the language may have, and replace it with is likely to have, and then it goes on a direct effect upon public property. That's number 1. Number 2, after the second red line, second set of red line, beginning with will result in or, and then end, I'm sorry, strike that. It's in the first red line that we're talking about, where it says is located in whole or in part, and then it ends with use of special village services or that. I would add, after the or, I would remove the that and say or requires or utilizes any of the following. And then colon, and then go on with what they're saying. Use of Villa Park, Village Park and other village-owned property, comma, temporary, so on and so forth.
So the last words of the first red line.
Correct. Just remove that and replace it with or requires / utilizes any of the following, semicolon. Does that make sense?
Yes, except one of the items, that the new redlined item isn't talking about a use, but is talking about a result. So there are some items, I understand that what you want to do is itemize the, what would qualify as a special event. So I think the appropriate motion would be to specifically itemize those triggering events that, qualify as a special event, as opposed to just giving the specific language.
I'm
Technically,
fine with
after,
that. That's the intent of it.
correct.
Okay.
And that's fine.
So is that
And then I
motion
would
vague
understand.
enough to be able to rewrite it that way?
It's specific enough that where,
Okay.
because after each comma, it's a triggering event. So if you itemize each triggering event,
Okay.
Yeah.
So then,
We could do
the
that.
second one would just be the motion to itemize each triggering event under section 1.
okay.
And then the last under, as an aside from the motion, can we add another section in here that would say to the effect that any violation of this ordinance may result in a fine per occurrence? And that way, it's not just one fine with a maximum of $750. It could be multiple infractions that would require multiple 750s.
So let's take a look at the code with respect to the fine on that. The penalty states specifically that any person violating this shall be subject to a minimum fine of $150 each day that the violation exists. So the code already addresses that if a violation continues to exist on more than one day, each day is a separate occurrence.
But the violation is not that you're violating the ordinance, you're violating a specific itemized piece of the ordinance?
It's that you're holding a special event on a day without having had a permit. So if the event lasted 2 days, each day could be a separate violation because you had not gotten that special event permit for any day, both of those days.
And let me see if I am getting at what trustee Kozar is asking. Are you asking if you did several different things within the same, I don't think you can charge, because it's basically the same offense multiple times on the same day. I don't know, I guess, is that?
It would still be one event. So even if an event hits one of the triggering elements, it's still considered one event.
So no matter what you're doing, you're drinking in your car, you're parking at the neighbor, and you're squealing your tires when you leave, that's one event, one fine, that's it.
Well, there's two separate aspects to this ordinance. One is the requirement that those large events or these events that meet these triggering elements equal a special event and therefore need a special event permit. The next element of this ordinance that's in front of us is adding some provisions regarding nuisance properties and what a nuisance is on a public parking area. Those are two separate components of this ordinance. So the squealing of the tires, those things don't make it a special event. That could potentially make it a nuisance that falls under the nuisance provisions of our code. But there's two separate provisions of the code that are being addressed here in this one ordinance.
So we're putting them all under the special event permit requirement?
No.
And nuisance?
No. They're not under this special, they're not, they're separate. So
But isn't that
Section 1,
an ordinance of the Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending the Village of Villa Park Municipal Code regarding special event permit requirements and nuisance parking prohibition?
yeah, so those are two separate things. Special event permit requirements is one component of this ordinance, and then nuisance parking prohibitions is another component. Section 1 of the ordinance deals with the definition of what a special event is, and that requires a license to hold a special event. Section 2 and 3 deal with the nuisance parking regulations that are in Section 15, or Chapter 15 of the Village Code.
So that's what we're amending. So it's not really section 2, we're just amending 3 different sections of the code at one time.
Yes. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Right.
And each one of those can be, I mean, since one is in chapter 15, which is public parking areas, and so 15-803 and 15-804 are in public parking areas, chapter 15. So, and this is, if you violated chapter 15 and chapter 13, those could be separate. Those two could be separate offenses.
I understand it. Okay.
And that's correct? Melissa, okay, I want to make sure.
Okay. So I was just under the impression that we were putting together an ordinance because of strats, and this was the ordinance, but in fact, we've got an ordinance as it regards special events. We've got another ordinance as it affects owner's responsibility in public parking areas. We've got another ordinance that regards prohibition in parking areas.
So,
So it's basically 3 ordinances that we're putting together here. Or
no.
amending.
Well, the city.
Section 4 and 5, so.
The village's code already has chapter 13 that deals with special event permits, and it already has chapter 15 that deals with nuisance properties. This ordinance is just amending the various sections of the code that are dealing with the issue that we're confronted with now. You know, it's the village's interpretation that the events that are taking place even on the Strauss property now would need a special event permit already as defined in our code as it exists today. We're just clarifying, so there's no question that the type of events that are occurring require a special event permit. In addition, we're clarifying that some of the issues taking place on the property are nuisances under our code as well.
Okay. So in that case, we're only looking at the 2 suggestions that I had. And then the third of that motion is I'd like to bring this back in 45 days. Have it on the agenda so we can review it. And then, as a caveat to that, Chief, if you could at that point come in and tell us what's worked, what hasn't worked, and any suggestions you might have.
Okay.
The point of all of this is to give the chief and the law enforcement the tools that they need to keep this safe. So part of that is being able to enforce it in the courts.
Just a quick question. When you say 45 days, you mean the next meeting after 45 days? Or do you mean, because we
Yeah,
have.
I don't mean 45 days exactly. I don't want to come here on a Wednesday night, but.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'll meet you here if you want to talk about it, but, yeah, I don't really mean 45 days. mean,
I assume so, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, okay.
if you want to say the next board meeting after
Right.
the next traffic and safety meeting, if that helps, or we can look at a calendar.
Well, the next traffic and safety is first or second? First Tuesday, so the next.
It'll be the 20th.
May 13th.
13th, yeah.
So just bring it back on May 13th.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Trustee Kumar.
I wanted to say, I also want some information on nuisances and the cost of fees, or, you know, when you are a nuisance, what is your fallback? Is it just a statement that you're a nuisance, or is there some incurring
Well, you would get-
ticketing that happens due
Yeah.
to a nuisance? So what can
You're
you
raising
do
the
about a
mic.
nuisance?
Sure. So nuisance is what code enforcement officers or even the police issue violation notices and citations on. And then that is what the adjudication court does. And so through testimony like a traditional court, if the judge declares that, yes, the village has found that it is a nuisance, then the judge will issue the recommended fines that staff usually projects a recommended fine. The first time, first offense, 150, second, 250, 5, all the way up to 750. with the
I think
continued.
that information is most effective, not because you actually assess those, but that people have the fear of being assessed a nuisance fee. And I think it's not clear that if you do these things, you may end up with a $150 fine or a $400 fine. It's not really clear to the public. And I think that is part of the issue we're having at hand in Stratz or anywhere. People don't realize the consequences of their actions or what they're doing. It just seems like a fun time, right, to the people who are there. And it has become a nuisance. It certainly is a nuisance. And I think that clarity needs to be out there for that in this, clubbed in with special event, the booklet, I suggest we talk about that nuisances in a clearer way, that these things may be fined of your patrons if they cause this nuisance of running out, or, something of that sort. I think we need a clarification or some kind of table that says, if you do this, you might have a $150 fee. And I don't think, at least that puts it on the books, so that when you do assess such a thing, you are on the clear on both sides, right?
Yeah, it can actually go, 750 is actually the max daily fine.
Okay, that's fine,
just-
whatever,
just for
yeah.
information.
You could be assessed 750, and
Yeah,
and that's a
up to.
nice number to put out there that scares people enough that they decide not to do some of these things that they may be a safety hazard.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion right now, though. We need a second on that motion. Trustee Kozars, do we have a second on the motion? Trustee Patrick? Okay. Any questions or comments on that motion? Okay, Clerk Konecki, can we have a vote on Trustee Kozar's motion to amend, to amend Section 1, to change that verbiage to is likely to have occurred, or is likely to occur, and then to itemize each trigger event. And then we'll also bring this back in 45, or on May 13th for review.
Ready?
Okay, yes, please.
Okay, trustee Cordova,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
President Casal.
Yes. Okay, so now, we have a vote, okay, do we need a motion on it, or we already?
Yes,
have
No,
a
we
motion?
already
Yeah.
have the motion to
Okay.
approve.
Okay.
Now, it would be to vote on
To
the
vote.
motion to approve as amended the two
Two
times.
times, trustee Cordova's and trustee Kozar's amendments. Okay, Clerk Konecki?
Okay, trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Cordova,
Yes.
trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
President Casal.
Yes. Okay, so that does pass, and then we'll go into effect now, and we'll bring this back on May 13th.
Right.
Okay, thank you. All right, item 11, ordinance for second readings, we have none. Item 12 and 13, we have, well, item 13 is ordinances, or resolutions. 13A is a resolution for the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Villa Park and York Township street paving on Cornell Avenue, Euclid Avenue, Reardon Road, and Summit Avenue. Manager Harline.
This resolution authorizes the village manager to execute an intergovernmental agreement with York Township through its highway department for the milling and overlay of South Cornell Avenue, South Euclid Avenue, Reardon Road, and South Summit Avenue. The village's estimated share of the project is $141,980 and is included in the 2024 budget. Staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Okay, thank you. A motion, trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Okay, we have a second?
Absolutely.
Trustee Alfano? Okay. And this is basically, we're working with York Township. They're going to be milling portions of these roads up to Villa Park, and any area that Villa Park needs done, they'll take care of it in their contract with their paving contractor. Questions?
Yeah, it's not a question, I'm very happy about this, because there are a lot of potholes that everybody's hitting on those, in Summit, Reardon, that area. I know, because I live pretty close to there, it's a big mess, and I'm glad that we're actually addressing the portions that don't belong technically to Villa Park.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Clerk Konecki, please.
Okay, trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
President Casal.
Yes. Item 13B is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park to enact a no-mow pollinator program. Manager Harline.
This resolution, if adopted, would suspend the enforcement of the Municipal Code, Chapter 15, Article 3, Section 15-302 until May 12, 2024. No enforcement would occur for excessive heights of weeds, plants, and grass as nuisances during this period in order to promote pollinator-supporting habitat. The Environmental Concerns Commission and the staff recommend passage of this resolution. I will add that because of the calendar, it would be not possible to enforce through abatement the tall weeds before July 4th, because the next scheduled date where you would actually enforce the mowing would be on July 4th itself. So that first Thursday court date has been pushed back, I believe. And Director McLaughlin is here to, if you answer any questions. So we're hoping that we also are ready to produce signs if this is the way you guys want to move as a pollinator program.
Okay. So we have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano?
Yes, please.
Okay, questions, comments? Trustee Patrick?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the Environmental Concerns Commission for promoting this. This is a very important program for our environment. We do know this. Joe Maury came up here and he gave a statistic when he spoke earlier about 1 in every 4 bites of food that we take is responsible for, a pollinator is responsible for. And I'd just like you to imagine going into Jewel across the street here and picturing about 75% of everything on the shelves in the produce department being gone. That's the effect of pollinators. And it's not a lot of people understand or can visualize the effectiveness of our pollinators. And pollinators aren't just honeybees. Again, pollinators do live in the ground, underground, overwintering and such. And it's not just the dandelions or the weeds that they use, it's also the cover that they use to stay away from natural predators or what have you. So I would like to thank our Environmental Concerns Commission again and Joel Maury for really pushing this forward, and over the last year being able to identify a program like this. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Trustee Kumar?
I also want to state that it is an opt-in, opt-out program, just to clarify, and it is your choice to opt in and opt out of this particular program, though I do think it's a good program to opt into.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Clerk Konecki, please.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Item 13C is a resolution waiving the bidding requirements and authorizing the execution of a contract for electric for the new Lions Park Recreation Center to J. Hamilton Electric Company, Inc. in the amount of $1,665,475. Manager Harline.
This resolution waives the formal bidding process and authorizes the village president to execute an agreement between the Village of Villa Park and J. Hamilton Electric in the amount of $1,665,475 to perform the electrical work as part of the construction of the new recreation center in Lions Park. J. Hamilton was the second lowest bidder during the formal bidding process back in the summer and has agreed to assume the contract from Valley Electrical Contractors, who was awarded the bid in August 2023, but is unable to complete the project. Staff recommends approval of the resolution. Some additional information in the packet also explains that it is likely not to cost that much, and also any overage beyond the bid price from the original contractor should be covered by the performance bond.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Alfano, or Trustee Cordova?
Yep.
Thank you, sorry about that. Trustee Patrick?
Second.
Second? Okay, questions, comments? Okay, seeing none. Clerk Konecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Item 13D is a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Villa Park and the Village of Addison for Safe Routes to School project. Manager Harline.
This resolution authorizes the village president to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Addison for the village's participation in a Safe Routes to School project being constructed by Addison. The Village of Addison received funding to construct sidewalks along Armitage from Ardmore to Villa Avenue, including sidewalk along 2 empty lots on Ellsworth Avenue. This agreement is for the village to share in the cost of the portions of the sidewalk that are in Villa Park's right-of-way. That should be a apostrophe, right-of-way jurisdiction. The estimated cost of the village is approximately $28,500. Staff recommends approval of this agreement.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kumar, do you have a second? Trustee Corkery, questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. Clerk Kornicki, please.
Okay, Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
President Casella.
Yes. Okay, item 14, unfinished business. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. I'm really big on giving credit where credit's due, or recognizing people that deserve recognition. And over the past few months, our village staff has worked tirelessly to work within their departments to create and present their budgets to the village board. And we have recognized them for those efforts. They've done an outstanding job with that. On the same note, though, as a village board member, we are tasked to review the entire budget and also come up with any concerns or questions that we have, and then finally approve those budgets as well. And I know for a fact that there are at least 2 individuals on this board, 2 trustees, that have put in countless hours and time in doing such. And it was brought to our attention at the last meeting that the village budget on the front page did not correlate with those 2 individuals' names being on that budget. And I think that's needs to be rectified as a sign of respect for the 2 trustees that are on this board whose names have been left off of the front page of that budget, because they have both put in hours and time and should also be recognized for their hard work here. Trustee Cordova, Trustee Alfano, you were a part of this just as much as I was and anybody else on this board, and deserve that recognition. And I think out of respect, it's only fair that the village corrects that, because as of right now on the village website, if you look at our published budget, those names aren't on there. As a matter of fact, it is 2 separate names of older trustees that have no longer been serving on this board. So I'm recommending and suggesting and requesting by our next meeting, the village correct those names on there and respectfully give recognition to the 2 board members that deserve that recognition. In addition, I would also like to see that the printed copies that were given to us be reprinted with those corrections as well. Again, they have put in as much time on doing their due diligence with this budget, and they deserve that recognition as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, could you?
So I do want to apologize. Normally, our communication specialist manages the website, so we did make the updates. What I just found out is that they're not formally published on the website, so that will be corrected this evening, and we will get new booklets printed. I know we were working with our finance team to address that for the village board.
So just really quick, if you go to the website right now and pull up the PDF that is on the line, it does not have those corrections
So
made.
that is my mistake. So that is what when we were at the last board meeting, we made those corrections. I am not normally somebody that manages the website. We'll have our communication specialist on Monday, hopefully. And so that is my error. So I just want to apologize for that and let you know that we will have that corrected this evening.
So the official document that is already made known to the public or available to the public, that will be changed as well by the next board meeting?
I will have the website updated this evening.
I'm talking about the document.
That will be the
That's
one
available to the public?
that's
In a hard
available on our
copy.
website. Is that, I don't know if you
That was already changed is what
talking about the
Assistant
hard
Manager
copy.
McVeigh. The hard copy was amended immediately after last meeting. It was an oversight that it didn't get changed on the website.
I'm talking about two issues here, the hard copies, as well as the PDF downloadable version that is on the website.
That's what
I will
That one
correct.
needs correcting, because our public, our general public, doesn't have access to any of the corrections that you've made. Therefore, the trustees that are up here do not get the recognition that they deserve.
Right,
It'll
and
get you-
again,
yeah,
I
'cause if-
apologize for that.
Yeah, and
So-
if Donnie was still here, that would have been changed.
It's
just in the-
done. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
done. It just didn't properly load on the website. We have to push a button, and then it will load on the website with the new PDF with the corrections to put the correct Board of Trustees from that should have been in on January 1.
I
So,
appreciate that.
yeah.
You say that you have made those corrections, however, there's still oversight.
But they haven't been loaded yet. It's
So
just-
my
it's-
question is that if this was brought to your attention at the last meeting, why hasn't that button been pressed earlier?
Again, it's my mistake, and so I'm.
Because it's
I am
normally, she doesn't
apologizing for
normally
that.
do it.
So-
It was normally done by the PIO, Donnie.
Just an error.
Donnie's not here,
Yeah.
so she just didn't do it.
Just a
It's
website
just a
error.
mistake, and everybody makes them.
Okay, because again, it is very important that these two trustees get recognized for their work on this board.
Yeah. She's saying she's going to take care of it tonight.
We are printing new copies. We apologize for that mistake, and it was, yeah. So we will have it up before morning.
Thank you.
Any other unfinished business? Hey, any new business? Trustee Kumar.
I have a couple of questions about pothole filling, when that happens. When it will
Dr.
happen
Blair,
that the potholes are filled. I have a couple of questions actually for Public Works. Yeah.
Yes.
Our street is full of potholes, and when do we get I know you guys wait for the material to come in, it comes, the reclaim or whatever, there's a timing, you can start filling potholes.
No, so we are typically out. We go out every Friday.
Oh,
to
every
fill potholes,
Friday.
And then we do have, excuse me, we do take work order requests from certain areas, and then we call those typically slips in our field. And then
Okay.
we will fill those slips at that time as well. I will say in the last couple of weeks, obviously, we're in our time frame of vacation time due to benefit year, so sometimes we are light-staffed. And then additionally, the weather is not cooperative. We've kind of gone from 70 to snow, back to 70, back to snow, back to 70. That does damage to the roads beyond. So we are trying to play catch-up on potholes, but we can address that street. But typically, it's a Friday, we call them Friday potholing, where we go out with the crews and try to fill as many
Okay,
potholes
and so
as we
what's
can.
the process to kind of report that, just to update the process of reporting?
Currently, right now,
Uh-huh.
with our systems, as we bring new systems online, but our system right now is to call in the Public Works general number and
Okay.
speak to probably Janelle now, who will take that and create a work order and hand it over to our operations guys.
Okay, I'm just letting people know.
Okay.
Thank you.
There is an online form as well, but either one, probably the fastest is to make the phone call.
Phone call to Janelle at this point. And our hope is with the new system, that'll become more automatic, is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And when is the rollout for the new system?
Well, this week we are taking calls and putting them into the system to test to see how it's going, because there's always some glitches. So we have the software up. We plan to integrate it into the website, kind of doing it quietly to see how, make sure that we get the answers on the other end, and then we'll roll out the app in the public, depending on how quickly we've got the glitches worked out. I'm looking at a couple of months before we get the online and the app version for people and do a full public campaign.
Okay, and then does the app allow you the ability to communicate? I do see one of our members of our community out here with a great issue that he's had for 2 years. Are we able to communicate back and forth with individuals on their particular issues through
Yes.
that app?
Yes, in fact, if you put in your email address, it will automatically keep you updated on where the progress with that particular customer service request is.
Is because it's an issue for 2 years, and I think it's a long-standing issue that needs to be dealt with. And I think it's similar to many of the problems we have in terms of a consumer customer communication. And so the public of Villa Park can look forward in the next couple of months to a great improvement in our communication ability through this app and this service, correct?
We hope so, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Trustee Alfano.
I do have a couple of things. One, I do have questions about with the cicadas coming. Are there plans to protect the younger trees that have been planted in the village, especially where we've had some roads repaired and replaced?
So kind of as Mr. Maury touched on, the meshing is kind of costly and time prohibitive. Additionally, we don't plant what we call saplings or seedlings. We plant trees that are a little bit more mature. Of the diameter of the base is about 2 inches when we try to plant them. So they are a little bit more mature than the very young ones. So at this time, with our staffing levels, we feel that it's essentially, we feel there might be some damage, but the likelihood of the trees will survive. And if not, we will take an assessment of the trees and get them replaced as part of fall planting, is our plan of action at this time.
Okay, thank you. I do have one more. I'm not sure if this would fall now or in my trustee report. It's regarding the April 26th Arbor Day tree planting. Since it's at the library, which I'm thrilled about, could we request that this takes place at a time where families could attend and it's not in the middle of the day?
Yeah, we can plan that. We do some tree planting preparation, but we are planning to leave it a little bit more, I can't think of the words right now, the participation with members. So we could plan it later in the evening.
You don't have to make a decision now.
We would probably still, that area is a very busy school crosswalk, so we'd want to also plan around that time frame so that we don't
After
interfere
school,
with
so,
operations, so.
Yeah,
But yeah, we are working on finalizing those plans and we'll get them out to the board.
thank you.
Okay, we have commission reports, village clerk's report.
Oh, no, we're actually in new business.
Oh, I'm
still in
sorry.
new business.
Yeah, okay.
I have one more thing under new business, and I've been bringing this to the attention of our staff with regards to kind of a discussion on our Airbnbs in town. I know they are not at present. They are not at present legal in the sense there's an ordinance against renting for less than 30 days. I think a discussion, a clarification is necessary with regards to this, as there are a lot of individuals in this town at this point renting their properties for lower than that amount. So I would like to bring that to discussion. It's only because maybe we want to allow it, maybe we don't as a board. That discussion needs to happen somewhere, maybe in a CAL.
Okay.
Or EDC, you know, we can talk to EDC about that.
Well, EDC, I don't think that, this is like private families that are renting their properties. I think it comes back to the residents.
There was talk about going to EDC and if we do regulate it, you know, charging a fee for it, which may be more towards EDC. So, but that, yeah, that's a discussion we can have at a CAL meeting.
Yeah, so we need to kind of have a discussion at the board before we throw it at, I think, our commissions to decide where it necessarily has to go.
Okay. So I guess, I mean, right now it's no. You're interested in discussing it as a future topic. I mean, just is there other interest on the board to bring this back? Is there anybody else? I just want to make sure there's somebody else that it's not just, okay, all right. If you're the only one who wants it, we're going to bring forth an ordinance and it's going to, you know, so I just want to make sure.
No,
somebody
I
else
know, I mean.
that's
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
Anyone else new business? Okay, Clerk Krenneke.
No report, thank you.
Okay, trustees report, trustee Alfano, we'll start on your side.
Thank you. I want to congratulate all of our emergency response teams that were out today from the fire department and from our police department. It's you just can't stop smiling. It's just such a happy event. So I know that the job is tough, but this is where you get to celebrate those jobs. So thank you very much. Always a fun thing to see. My comment today regarding the alcohol licenses and having that link, it was not just for us as trustees, but also for residents, because that is something that I do end up getting asked frequently. So that would really be helpful if we had a link to that on our agendas. We have Prairie Path cleanup coming up. The Fun Commission is hosting that here in Villa Park on the 27th of this month. If you are interested, please email pride@invillapark.com. You do need to register, and there's a waiver that you would need to fill out, and they can help you figure out how to get to that. And I mentioned cicadas earlier, so heads up, the Fun Commission has a cicada 2024 activity that's in the works. They'll be bringing it to the board to explain a little bit more about it, hopefully at the next meeting.
So what was it?
A cicada 2024 activity, like they're
okay.
all in for the
Okay.
cicadas. So if you don't like cicadas, I fall in that, you're out of luck. But there are some people who love them, and the idea is there are a lot of kids that have never experienced cicadas before, so we don't want to make them scary. We want to make them like fun and exciting. Congratulations to Willowbrook High School's Music Boosters on a successful trivia night on Saturday. This was my third year attending, and it's always just a fun event, and they're always welcoming, so thank you for that. Thank you to those volunteers who are on our commissions, who, we had a lengthy list tonight, but I know that that's not exclusive. There are a lot of our commissioners that were not named tonight, who are up for renewal, but we are looking forward to the commissioner reception on Friday. I know it's just a small gesture from your village for the time, the effort, and energy that you put in for your village and on behalf of the residents every month, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kumar.
Yeah, just again, I want to reiterate, very happy about all the commissioners and all the work they do and the newer ones that are joining, and I hope to see them at the event as well. I also want to, since it was Library Week, we talked about it, just reiterate the fact that Adventure begins at your library. The summer reading program starts on May 28th, goes till August 2nd. I want all the children out there reading this summer. It's fun, it's wonderful, it's just a thing to do. So just get out there, visit your library, start this week, sign up when you can, and get involved with books. And that's it for me today.
Okay, Trustee Corkery.
No report this week.
Hey, Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. First of all, I'm looking forward to the commission recognition gathering on Friday. That's going to be a nice event that we're bringing back, and I hope that we continue to do that in the future as well. With that being said, the Video Production Commission, they have a couple of openings. If you are interested in learning how to do video production for the village, or join a commission in general, you can contact me directly or check out the village's website. There's more information there about those commissions. Again, I want to thank the Environmental Concerns Commission for bringing up and working with NOMO May. Outstanding job. Thank you with that. Also, I want to just thank our local school districts for getting our kids out today and seeing that awesome solar eclipse that doesn't come around that often. It was nice to see all the solar sunglasses out there and all the kids checking it out and seeing something pretty cool, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. With that, again, I would like to congratulate our 5 newly sworn-in fire department officers getting through their probation period. I have seen them in work, from the time that they were hired till the time now, and they're already making tremendous strides. I also want to congratulate our 2 new officers to the department here. I have said this time and time again, I think that we have the best departments in the entire state of Illinois, and I will stand by that. The camaraderie and the atmosphere that both of our chiefs here have created within their departments is something to model. And I believe that they are doing an outstanding job with that. So keep up the good work. Thank you for all that you do. And that is all I have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Cordova.
Yeah, just a quick reminder that the annual Spring Sweep Recycling Extravaganza is drawing near. This year's Spring Sweep will be on Saturday, May 18th from 9 to noon. And besides electronic recycling and paper shredding, following groups will be present. Number 1, E-Paint Recycling will collect latex and oil-based paint for a fee. Working Bikes, Interstate Battery, PA Crimson is going to be collecting fire extinguishers. The VFW will be collecting flags. We have the Villa Park Lions Club, Capital Metals, Scarce, Simple Recycling. So I suggest following social media post for a little bit more information on what each group will be collecting. So again, that's Saturday, May 18th. I'll have a couple more opportunities to speak to it, but it's a spring sweep. It's a great program.
Yeah, thank you. Trustee Kozar.
Congratulations to our new firefighters. Congratulations to our new officers, police officers. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we go to the President's report. I too would like to congratulate our police and fire officers, and fire department did a nice job at Station 81. They had a little reception for the new the end of the Proby era for these 5 guys. Trustee Cordova was there too, and it was a nice ceremony, and it's nice having their friends and family out there congratulating them. Last week, Manager Harline and I met with Senator Gloyak Hilton, along with some other mayors from DMMC. It was a very good meeting. Brought up our issues with LGDF and the 1% food tax that Governor Pritzker wants to do away with. So very good conversation. She's very open, and she listens to what the different mayors and managers have to say, which is really, really nice. And this morning, Manager Harline and I were at Wheaton for the opening of for the groundbreaking for the DuPage County Health Department Crisis Recovery Center, something that's been long planning. The DuPage County chairperson, Deb Conroy, this has always been close to her heart. She's always been fighting for mental health, and this is a great resource that we'll have. Hopefully within about 1.5 years it'll be built there. Electronic recycling will be on the 20th here at the Public Works Building, 9 to 12. You have to have your ID to show that you're a Villa Park resident. And again, we'll bring up the Commission Appreciation Dinner. It's this Friday, 6:30. It starts at Sugar Creek Golf Course. So if you're on a commission, we'd love to see you there. It's a nice event. I know Trustee Patrick has been kind of pushing this for a while, and it's nice to have this recognition for all those that put a lot of hard work into their commissions. And that's it. We'll go to our village manager's report.
First thing, if a show of hands, or you can email me or something, if people would be available for an extra committee of the whole to review the work of the staff on the strategic plan, to the stuff that was to be done after the meeting on February 24th, to bring it back to this board. This would be just discussion and any additional amendments before actually adopting it at either the May 13th or the May 20th meeting, depending upon how long it takes to turn it around. Would that be acceptable? Are you able to
do it on the 22nd?
Yeah, that's our regular meeting time. It's just early. Okay.
No, I wouldn't be able to be there on May 13th. We have a school event, so I wouldn't be there for the 6 o'clock.
So May 22nd.
I know it's a regular meeting, but we're transitioning to middle school, and that's the same, like, parent night for transition.
The question exactly right now is, could you make it early on the April 22nd? Or
On April 22nd?
Yeah.
Should be able to.
Because I can, that's.
Because May 13th would be a normal COW.
Yes, I can make it on the 22nd.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
Trustee Kumar?
Yeah, I mean, I was just, I would be okay with it on the 22nd.
Trustee Corkery?
Over here.
Okay. Trustee Patrick?
Yeah,
The
give me a few
22nd?
days, I can make it happen.
22nd, good.
Yeah,
Trustee Cordova?
I'll figure it out.
Trustee
Yep.
Kozar, okay. We'll shoot for the 22nd, another COW.
Okay, and then we can always put it off to the 20th, because I would like to have as many as possible to
That
attend
might
that.
affect 2 of us here.
So, and then additional topics for May and June on Committee of the Whole, and you can contact me, contact the president. lead service lines for water. We got the Kluber report for the assessment of all our buildings. They'll be coming back. Parking studies on Villa R and Ardmore, and then also short-term rentals. Is there anything else that we are looking at in the next few months for committee of the whole topics? If you don't have this prepared, just send me an email about it. I didn't warn you ahead of time I was going to ask. So, then again, I was going to mention the groundbreaking, but President Kazona already took care of that. Several of you mentioned the Commissioner Appreciation Dinner, particularly, I'll give you the names. I'm going to forget somebody, but a lot of people put in some effort on that, so I'll definitely share that when we're there. The Parks and Rec Advisory Commission is on their agenda for tomorrow to discuss since it doesn't look like we're going to have a sponsor, or at least not anytime soon, what we want to call the recreation center. They're going to bring back a recommendation to this board. I hope you don't mind the impertinence of asking, as the staff suggesting that we talked about this in our staff meeting. We don't know what to call it. We're getting closer and closer to opening it. So we'd like to get that recommendation to you guys. I know usually you guys send the recommendations to the commissions, but I think it's something that needs to be discussed. So that's going to be on the agenda. It's already actually on their published agenda for tomorrow. So just want to make this board aware of it. And that's it.
Okay. Okay. We do not have an executive session tonight, so we have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corky, Trustee Kumar?
I'll second it.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will be back.
No, because I could tell the look on your face.
Yeah.
You're talking about the budget, right?
Okay. So we will be back here April 22nd, 6 o'clock.
Oh, do you want me to
COW
say
meeting.
Oh, yeah, the edit to the.
That way the community might have.
I'll tell you.